it's only brought out the husband in me more. It's only, of course, it's only brought out the father in me more.
Hello and welcome to another episode of The Family Business with the Alessis. I'm Steve Alessi, and today I'm joined with Christopher Alessi here in the studio. Well, before we get into our subject, I just want to ask our audience, have you seen or have you purchased, grabbed your new mug? It's a Yappuccino mug, and I think it has to do with Gabby being a yapper because she talked about a subject and some people got all caught up about it and even called her a Yappuccino. So we thought that was so brilliant. Thank you very much for whoever posted that comment on our feed. We thought we'd go ahead and use it to make a nice coffee mug. So grab yours. We'll make it available for you. We're going to have some questions for you in the future episodes, and we'll be able to actually give some of that product and merchandise away from the family business with the Alessis. All right, Chris, it's you and I.
Yeah.
Harrison Butker, kicker of the Kansas City Chiefs. He was given a commencement speech and he made a comment that said more or less across the board, my understanding of it, he's applauding both men and women, but women for being professionals. Go out, use your gifts, your talents, everything that you just were able to receive in college. Go out and build a great career for yourself. But at the same time, remember, your greatest calling or what will bring you the most significance is going to be a mother, a wife in the home, raising a family. And he was criticized for that.
Yeah.
All right. So that's what society wants to do and say about principles, quite frankly, that you were raised with, mom and I embrace. But what about men in the home? Because he went on to say some things about men as well, and we didn't get to hear much about that. But men in the home, here we are literally a full year away from the birth of Marino. You're
Crazy.
a dad. You've been officially a dad
For a year.
For 1 year. Now, you are the head of your home. You're strong. I like that. You lead your wife, Rochelle. You lead your son, Marino. You're a strong disciplinarian. Matter of fact, I hear you call out sometimes and I think, wow, that's so harsh of him. But
Yeah.
I'm reminded that evidently you
I wonder
were
where I got that from.
raised in a certain way. So you're strong in the home. You're leading your home. You like to drive your car, don't you?
I drive every time.
You drive every time. So you're the driver. You're in the driver's seat. But you're also really, really involved in raising Marino. So my thought today is, you're 1 year into it. What are some of the lessons that you've learned as a first-year dad raising your son?
Yeah. Well, thanks for having me on today. And, to the Harrison part, his statement was, I know that you guys have accomplished a lot. You're thinking about your future. Just don't forget, with that vocation, don't forget the vocation of being a mother. Mm-hmm. And that's really what he was saying. And he says the same thing to men. And he actually goes and he gives his wife credit that he hasn't forgotten to be a father and to be a husband. He thanks her for that. And so when I look at what it's been like for me raising my son, I mean, it's only brought out the husband in me more. It's only, of course, it's only brought out the father in me more. And having a young boy who is starting to look like me and is having some qualities that are a little bit like me, I mean, it has made me the most confident version of myself ever. And it has made me know what I bring into rooms and where I need help. I think I wrote a poem for myself about, I'm more aware of my strengths than I ever have been. And I'm more aware of my weaknesses than I ever have been. And I attribute all that to being a father.
Mm-hmm. Well, those feelings of weakness never change. Even as they get older and older, you never feel like you're doing it the right way and you're feeling like you're making a mistake. We always joked, that kids don't come with owner's manual on how to assemble and how to build and how to talk to them the right way, how to discipline them, when to discipline them. It's like all of that stuff you learn with time, and then you never feel like you're doing it right.
Yeah.
So we've got a lot of new couples in our church where we operate our family business. And we got a ton of new babies. Just this week alone, I think we've had just in the first 2 days of this week, it's a Wednesday right now, we're recording this. Monday and Tuesday, we had 2 babies born.
Yep.
It's nuts. One on Monday, one on Tuesday.
We have a 6-week-old baby in the offices
And
right now.
that's right. She's come back to work, Melanie.
Yep.
So cute. Walk in the office, the lights are dim, and she's got a little light on going there. And we love that, by the way. We love making the workplace family-friendly, baby-friendly, because we want to help our moms and dads with raising their kids and definitely not just putting them in a daycare at such a young age. But so people are watching. Eyes are on you. You don't realize that, Bub, until you're older, how many people are watching you, not just listening to you. They watch you on how you raise your kid. So let's talk about that.
Yeah.
A couple of lessons. What do you think you learned? The biggest thing that comes out at you, biggest lesson has been what this past year?
I think the biggest lesson has been like really living in the present and being able to prepare for tomorrow is one of the things I've had to learn. And I say that on the heels of what you were saying about never really feeling like we're doing it right.
Mm-hmm.
Because, parent guilt is a real thing.
Mm-hmm.
And it holds you back, and you'll think about, have I done that right? Have I spent enough time? Have I, am I engaged enough, or have I emotionally delegated a little bit too much to the other spouse? They're over there playing and I'm exhausted. Should I be over there right now? You could deal with a lot of that, and learning to just say, let me be in this moment. And if I didn't really win today, let me go win tomorrow, I think has been a really healthy lesson for me, because I can get real caught up in, man, I like almost, it's not even the past. It's more of like the philosophical thoughts about parenting instead of just going and being a parent and wanting to be a better one tomorrow. So I think that that's been one of the lessons. But I also can say, I can look back and understand things that you have said for years and understand them at a deeper level now. Like you would always say the greatest gift you give your kids is loving their mom. And you said that forever. And now I look at my son, my 1-year-old, and they've always said that your spouse has your heart, but your kid is your heart. I look at Marino and I'm like, you're my heart. Oh my gosh, you're my everything. You're my number one. I can't even fathom what I would do without you. And then I have to look at my wife and go, but the greatest gift I give him is making you the one I can't live without. Loving you. You are my 1A, he is my 1B, and that's how I parent him well.
Yeah.
So that's been another lesson too. Not that I didn't know it, but now actually like being in it and seeing it and saying, okay, I have to. It's kind of like I might know how to screw a screwdriver, but now the screwdriver's in my hand, the nail's there, and now I got to do it. So
well, you don't use the screwdriver on a nail, just so you know.
Oh, yes, sorry.
Yeah.
Screwdriver on a screw, hammer to a nail.
There we go.
Processing.
Well, now you'll be amazed because you think he's your number one right now, and your heart is consumed with him. He's your heart. But what happens when number 2 comes around and number 3 comes around? You'll be amazed at how there's enough room in your heart for all of them. It really, it's precious. So
that's what Stephanie just said.
Huh?
Stephanie was literally just talking about that.
Yeah. Well, she's got 2, and she thought, the first one just took her breath away, and now she can't catch her breath because that first one has entered into her terrible 2s.
Yeah.
And she's terrible at times. But then the little guy comes around. So that, you're right. You get consumed with one, which I'll tell you is a reason why Mom and I always encourage couples, don't wait too long for number 2.
Because you'll get stuck.
Because you can get stuck. You get so consumed with the one, and then you're like, oh gosh, I don't know if I have room.
No.
Time goes on. 5 years go by.
But even that stuff is what I was referring to when I'm like the philosophical stuff of getting caught up in those. How could I ever love another one? Like, what value does that bring to the conversation? What parent should I be? Let's just get into it. Your kid can't be raised by your intentions.
Hmm.
They have to be raised by your actions.
Yeah.
And so, I intended to be the dad that got home and had all the energy and played with my son. And I know he's only one, so we haven't had a whole lot of time. But once he started crawling and moving around, I remember being like, man, but this couch is a lot more comfortable after a long workday than, chasing this kid around.
Yeah.
And having to go in, especially because if you don't know, Marino does not stop. Started walking.
He's one of those.
10 and a half, 11 months, started walking, does not stop. But, getting out of the whole philosophical idea and being like, just get up and go make the best with it.
Yeah.
Like yesterday was his actual birthday and Rochelle had to go to rehearsal. And so it was just going to be me and him. And I started to feel all the weight of, I'm going to run around and chase this kid in this house for 3 hours until she gets back. But I thought, you know what? No. I threw him in his stroller. I started walking around. Ice cream truck came by. It's his birthday, so I bought him some ice cream, even though he was been sick for a while. I was like, forget it. That'll be mom's problem.
Give him more dairy.
Yeah, exactly. That'll be mom's problem. The diapers are terrible. So we had ice cream. We sat outside. I put music on, and I looked at him. I told him the story of how he was born, and we just sat outside for 30, 40 minutes.
Yeah.
We went back inside, and we ended up, I showed you the video of him playing.
Yeah.
But then we sat and watched Tarzan again. I had the best night with my son because I just got up and did. I was like, let's just do it.
Right.
And I think dads can get really caught up in all of the things we have to do to keep the home running.
Mm-hmm.
And that's a lot easier to do mindlessly. You can take care of the house or go to work. You do all of that mindlessly, but being involved in your kid's life, especially when they're under a year old, can be difficult. You can almost delegate that to the future. Like, okay, when he's older, I'll get connected. And it's like, no, I need to make memories. I need to tell him the story, even though he doesn't understand any of it.
Right.
We're going to throw him a great party, even though he doesn't get, because it's really more about me being in the practice of these things than it is how much he receives from it. But I'll tell you, mom came home and for about 20 minutes, he was obsessed with mom. And then he wanted to go right back to dad afterwards because we had a great time together.
That's a bond. You can't have a bond with a kid you don't spend time with. And the younger it is, the better it is. But it's such a conflict because when the dad's younger, he's doing his best to provide for the family. He's doing his best to give a vision, and he sees what he wants to do, and he's just trying to grind at being that provider. And his mind is just not on the child. Like, I never was good with infants. To this day, I'm not good with infants. They got to get to that 6 month point where they can hold their head up a little bit better before I really feel comfortable holding them. Gianna, yours, Marino, Matthew, as a grandfather, I'll grab them for a little bit when they're those early months, but like, let Mia handle that because they're just better. So you're separated a little bit from them. But if you're not around them and intentionalize those moments, grabbing them, spending the time with them, then you don't have that bond. And they love you because they respect you and maybe fear you because you're loud and big and intimidating. They don't understand all of that. But when you spend the time with them, the bonds are perfect. That's why. So I know this. I didn't bathe you near as much as you bathe.
That's my role with him every night.
Talk about this for a minute. Okay. So we appreciate it because you FaceTime us and he's playing in the water and he looks at us, but he's got his little toy bag, suction cup to the side of the tub, and he plays and he grabs his little wee and he thinks it's fun and plays with that little wiggle worm. That's just the little boys. But you do that and you FaceTime us at least 3 to 4 times a week, you do it and let us know. And I think it's great. So how does this work? Some people are for, okay, this is my job, my responsibility, and that's mom's job, mom's responsibility. How do you feel about that? Do you think it's good that a couple can divide up certain responsibilities when it comes to raising kids?
I do. I do. I think so. This is what Rochelle and I talked about in a prior podcast about the Harrison Butker thing. We talk about gender roles, man's role, lady's role. We never talk about family roles. We don't talk about family. And when we discuss gender roles, we split the family. To discuss it, we split the family. Why would we do that? We should talk family roles. In order for this family to work, the kid's got to be bathed. Okay, so I enjoy watching TV with my wife for an hour before bed.
Mm-hmm.
If I put everything on her, I'm not going to get that time.
Yeah.
So let's divide and conquer. Let's do the things that we can do well. Now, I don't do certain things as well as Rochelle does. So what you see is I give him the bath. What you don't see is that the minute we hang up, the minute he's done, pick him up, dry him off, give him to Rochelle. Rochelle gets him ready for bed, and I do my thing. But the reason for that is like, okay, this is something I can do. So I'll do this while you do that. We talked about it in that podcast. If Rochelle did our laundry, we wouldn't have clothes. So I do that. But it's also something simple. And whenever we start to feel like, okay, either one of us is just delegating responsibility to the other, that's wrong. We share this responsibility. We take care of this home. I do not have a right to hold the standard of a home to a certain level, but I'm not willing to get involved and help it get there.
Mm-hmm.
That just doesn't work for me. To me, if something bothers me, then that means I'm the one that should probably at least communicate it or take care of it. So who knows how long that lasts once kids get involved, because right now it's easy to take the trash out, but when there's a 16-year-old capable of doing it, maybe I'll have a different mindset towards it. But we talk about it in the family. We take care of things. I can't cook for anything, but I can clean the dishes.
Mm-hmm.
And I saw you model that for a long time, but I also do like certain things that are worth protecting to me. And, her heart and how she feels is worth protecting. How much she enjoys working for the family, working in the family business is worth protecting to me. If that means I have to pick up one or two things at the house so she can juggle this and the things she does, great. Because she's willing to do the same for me. So we did talk about it. It's not gender roles, it's family roles. Now, when you get to driving, that's what a man does as a part of the family. Why? Because she should not have to. Not to mention, my son does not find much comfort with me in the back seat with him.
Yeah.
But the minute mom gets back there, man, everything changes.
That's so true.
So we have split roles, and some of them are based on whether it is society or the Bible's layout of what a man is and what a woman is. That's fine. But that comes under the umbrella of what a family is.
Yeah.
And that's just what we
Well, that sounds very old-fashioned. Hate to say it. And people will criticize for wanting to hold on to some of those old-fashioned ideals. I do appreciate that there are gifts that each spouse has, and that gift should help them carry out certain roles and responsibilities. I drive only because I can't handle sitting in the passenger seat.
To this day, not even when I drive.
It's not yet. You're right. I just can't. And it was like, this is what happens when I'm in the passenger seat. We're on our way to men's camp a couple weeks ago.
Oh.
We have taken this trip, just in the last year, 20 times. Armando usually goes with me early, Pastor Armando and Carlos Fernandez. Carlos is in the back seat, Pastor Armando's in the front. We leave at 5 a.m., so we're up at 4. I'm cracking the whip. Everybody shows up. We hit the road. I want them to go to sleep, but Carlos will go ahead and snooze. Pastor Armando, he says, I can't sleep while you're driving. I'm like, well, this is not working for me because I'm going to get tired in about 4 hours, 5 hours. I'm going to want to close my eyes for all of 20, 30 minutes. But he's like, I can't sleep when we're in the passenger seat. So anyhow, we get down the road and we stop. We get our breakfast in Gainesville. Get back on the road. Armando takes over. I said, I'm going to close my eyes. Now, I know we have about an hour from the time we get off in Gainesville to crossing the Georgia-Florida state line, and then Valdosta is the exit. So
to take the exit you enjoy taking.
That we all take.
The one that you like
time,
taking.
Saves money.
It's
the
one
where
that
we're going to stop and pick up gas again.
Those are all reasons to like it.
I have it all planned out.
Listen, those are all good reasons to like it, but ultimately,
stop at a restaurant
it's the one you
town. It's proven to be the best route to take. I take a nap. Closing, yes. I close my eyes. I'm sleeping for all of I don't know, few minutes. And when I wake up, I'm like, wow, I didn't sleep this long because it's taking forever to get to the Valdosta exit. And then I realize we're getting off at Tifton, which is another 45 minutes to an hour north. I looked at Armando. I said, you missed the exit. He says, no, man, this is the route we always take. We're like, no, this is not the route we always take. We've taken this route 20 times. This is not the route we take. We get off at Valdosta. Point is, when I go to sleep in the passenger seat, all hell breaks loose in the car. So I personally just like to drive. I know some women that are just like me.
Yeah.
They don't like sitting in the passenger seat. They want to get from point one, A to point B, and they want to get there as quick as possible. And their husband could be a chatty Cathy. I was going to say chatty Cathy, but we need a chatty Charlie and a chatty Charlie. And he may miss the exit and it drives her crazy. So I know there's some couples that enjoy sharing different roles because of for real.
Yeah, because of their makeup.
A woman may be better at money than a man is, or feel more comfortable balancing the books, taking care of the money, and the man may not be. So I understand that a woman may handle certain roles that I, as a man, enjoy handling. I don't think that's a deal breaker.
No.
I do like the idea, though, when it comes to raising kids, there's certain things that I believe a dad should be able to do. And, I think it's cool that a dad spends a few minutes helping his kids clean up their room, spends a few minutes making sure their kids are bathed. That's a great way for a dad to contribute, bond back with their kids. It's really excellent to see that. But I also see where a woman's role, there's something about a woman that's just, catering, motherly, loving,
They have a grace that I like. Rochelle has a grace with Marino, a long fuse that I just don't have. And I don't know where it comes from. Try to work on it. But to say that a gender isn't graced for certain things would be false.
Yeah.
I am graced for some of the pressure. She is graced for some of the kid situation. I mean, she could literally, out of the same mouth in 1 minute, tell me how frustrating her night was because he crawled all over her all night and would not sleep. And then in the next minute say, but I don't want him to sleep in his room yet. I'm not ready for that. I want him to sleep with me. Yeah. And I'm like, and a man's brain,
the kid, get him in the crib.
A man's brain is like, excuse me, hold on. If you're going to complain, there's a fix. Put him in his room. But Dad, I think even the way that you're discussing it, and maybe this is something people might love, might hate, I don't know, but I drive a little like a maniac. I'm going to beat that Waze time. I'm going to get there. And I drive a certain way. Well, Rochelle actually didn't like it. And very respectfully, very kindly was like, hey, I just want you to know my thoughts. And I have made adjustments to the way that I drive because the way she feels is more important than me operating naturally in every environment. And so I think that's what's important is that there are trade-offs. I learned to change a diaper, not so I will do all the diapers or even 50% of the diapers. But so if there's a night where she's not feeling good, I'm capable.
Right.
And that's one of the trade-offs that I just don't think, John Maxwell talks about the law of trade-offs. Everything's a trade-off. Well, if a man comes to the table, like I heard of one of the guys in our church that the minute they started having kids, the way that he handled sleep as a dad was to get earplugs and an eye mask and was like, you got all this. And because if I don't get my 7 hours,
yeah, I got it. Some are like that.
some are like that. To me, okay, then that's a trade you've made. And there is something you gave up for that. For me, I'm more willing to say, I will trade holding myself back a little bit while I'm driving for the sake of peace in the car. And especially because she's in the back, her not feeling nauseous. I'll trade some of there are some trades I won't make.
Right.
But there are, like, I'm not going to trade involvement with my kids for $10,000 more because I'm working harder.
Yeah. Yeah. What about discipline? Who carries the weight of discipline, you think, right now in your home?
So it's me.
Yeah.
Because he's a baby, because he's a year old now, some of the actual like physical discipline, Rochelle actually does, because like she'll be quicker to hit him on the hand or hit him on the thigh because it doesn't hurt him that much.
Mm-hmm.
I'm stronger, it's different. But when it comes to who is setting the standard for what we will allow him to do and what we won't allow, it is me.
Setting boundaries already.
So he's getting really good at sitting at restaurants, sitting in a baby seat at the restaurants.
Mm-hmm.
He used to be terrible. And we kind of accidentally waded into the waters of we don't go out to eat anymore because he's difficult. And I just wasn't going to have that. And I said, no, he's going to learn how to sit with us at a table, because I'm not going to say we can't go out because he's terrible at the restaurants. We're going to find a way to go to Georgia and find ways to involve ourselves in our lives. And if he cries in the car, we deal with it. But that's what I'm making sure our family, we're going to experience restaurants, we're going to experience vacations. He doesn't get to dictate that.
Yeah.
And we don't get to be dictated by that.
Mm-hmm.
So I am the one that lets him know very loudly what he's allowed to do, what he's not allowed to do. And if Rochelle has thoughts on it, she's more than welcome to share it.
Mm-hmm.
But I was raised a certain way. It seemed to work for us.
Right.
And she's fully on board with that.
Case studies.
Case studies
showed good results. What about the spiritual component?
Yeah, that's me.
That's you.
Yeah, I mean,
And it's not just because you're involved in ministry.
No. And, it's actually, it is great. We always talk about how men always want to fix things and women only want to vent and how stupid men are. They can't figure that out. I think it is amazing that there is somebody in the house that's wired to fix things.
Mm-hmm.
And that's how God set it up.
Mm-hmm.
That the one who's wired to fix things in some areas is one who's capable of it. Now you want to do some trade-offs. You don't want to always you don't want to walk around with a hammer. But it does show how we as men are wired. We are wired to fix. And so spiritually, I am wired to fix, to protect, to cover. It's just who I am.
Right.
So if I'm going to be the one to sleep in between the door and my wife, if I'm going to be the one to grab whatever instrument to protect myself, I have to. It's going to be the same thing spiritually.
Mm-hmm. Money, financially?
It is me. And you would think, this is where we go a little counterintuitive. So her brain sees numbers better than mine. Her brain can remember numbers better than mine. My heart can handle the pressure of it better than hers.
Yeah.
And so I get her input. She helps. But over the 3 years of marriage, we have made the decision, I will handle this.
Yeah.
Because whether we were budgeting well or not, they stress her out the same.
Yep.
So that's not her burden anymore.
Right.
It's not a weakness. It's because I'm probably the weak one, because I'm the guy who's like, $20, let's not worry about it.
Yeah.
She's the smart one. But the weight of it, I'm just a little better suited for it.
Yeah. Well, your seeds, your little seed pods that you wanted to buy off of Amazon the other day, you told your mom she needed to buy them. You were going to buy them for her.
They're for her.
I can't do it right now, Mom. My budget's maxed. So that's good. You were able to control it.
She's the one that has helped me make sense of that. But I would be doing her a disservice if I said, because part of it comes better to you, you handle it.
Yeah.
And we do a lot more together than people think.
Well, that's a plus in itself right there. Teamwork. It really does. The old phrase makes the dream work. I wish couples could see that a little bit more. Both are involved. And I guess all of this today is about being hands-on, even from a man's perspective, and not just marking children off to be the mom's responsibility. It's
Or the home,
great.
period.
Yeah, it's great to be able to both step in and carry the weight of raising the kid. So your first year having your son, he's 1 year old. The kid is a beast. Big hands, big feet, big face, big smile, big hair. Everything about the little boy is big. It's beautiful to see him. It's beautiful to see how you've adapted into this role as your father, watching the way you're navigating all of that and allowing us to be a papa and a Mia is so beautiful. The way you're complimenting and encouraging relationship between your son and his cousins already is just great. And then having the engagement of his aunts and his uncles and all of that is really beautiful. It's going to be a healthy environment for the boy. And so, what we're trying to ultimately say today on our podcast is we have the tagline, it's the family business with the Alessi, because family is everybody's business. When it comes to raising kids, it's everybody's business in the family.
It's true.
Involve them, get them involved, make the sacrifices, do what you got to do, get accustomed to it. The reality is, Chris, it's about 10 years. And it's amazing. Once those kids get about 10 years of age, there's almost an autopilot. You do your job right on the front end, and then those kids start making the right choices and decisions. They make you proud as heck as they get older and older in life. So that was our podcast today with the Alessis. Hope you enjoyed it. Hope it has encouraged you. And for all the young couples out there, have as many kids as you possibly can. Enjoy that season of bearing them and then raising them, because they will bring you a lot of pride in the future. God bless.
We hope you enjoyed today's episode. Go ahead and subscribe to our YouTube channel, like this video, and click on the notifications bell so you can be notified for all of our future videos. And if you loved today's topic, we have plenty more. And you can click on this link right here to watch all of our videos so you can learn why family is everybody's business.